Quick midweek update from yesterday's slate. We are pivoting our core based on matchup context, ownership dynamics, and a few key news notes that sharpen our projections. Quarterback. We are moving off yesterday's Caleb Williams value to Matthew Stafford at 6,600 with a dash rank of 100 against the Chicago Bears, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He is projected for 22 with 22 fantasy points per game, and recent games of 26, 27, and 10, and he is tracking around 48% owned. This is chalk we can embrace. The field is reacting to the same thing we are seeing on film and in the news cycle. Multiple championship preview pieces this week, including the Stafford versus Sam Darnold and picks and predictions article, keep spotlighting Stafford's current form. Another piece notes Stafford in the AP 2025 MVP finalist conversation, which supports trusting his projection over cheaper volatility. Unlike yesterday when we needed the QB savings to unlock other positions, today we can afford Stafford and lean into the elevated ceiling versus a soft overall defense. For a veteran starter like Stafford, projected points are reliable, and with that ownership, fading him becomes a bigger risk than playing him. Running back. We are pivoting from yesterday's Kyron Williams to Kenneth Walker III at 5,500 with a dash rank of 100 against the San Francisco 49ers, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. He projects for 11 with 12 fantasy points per game and has posted 17, 8, and 28 in his last three, coming in at about 0% owned. This is a leverage and price play. The public remembers the early season note that he started slow against these 49ers, and there is even an article pointing out his sluggish Week 1 line, which depresses sentiment. We are buying the recent spike games at a salary dip with near-zero ownership in a matchup that is not prohibitive by the numbers this week. The touch count should be sufficient to capture red zone equity, and the absence of ownership means any touchdown swings leverage the slate. Wide receiver, we are moving our top WR exposure from yesterday's Puka Nacua to Devontae Adams at 6,500 with a dash rank of 100, also facing the Chicago Bears, who have one of the worst defenses overall. He projects for 17 with 16 fantasy points per game and recent outputs of 12, 0, and 0 at roughly 16% ownership. The why here is price, matchup, and near-miss signals. There was a piece highlighting a controversial Devontae Adams catch against the Bears and another covering the Bears' overtime loss to the Rams. When officiating scrutiny pops up around a receiver, it often flags high-value targets that narrowly missed counting plays. With Stafford chalky and the opponent's overall defense weak, Adams at a discount lets us stack the passing ceiling in a game context we already like while avoiding the top WR price tier. The volatility in his last three keeps ownership in check, which is exactly when we want to buy proven alpha talent. Tight end, we are moving off yesterday's Dalton Schultz to Colston Loveland at 5,500 with a dash rank of 100 versus the Los Angeles Rams, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. He projects for 14 with 11 fantasy points per game and has erupted for 27, 25, and 21 in his last three at about 0% ownership. This is both a bring-back for our Stafford stacks and a bet on roll momentum. Articles this week have been bullish on Loveland. From Chicago found itself a good one, to Loveland landing on most impactful players from wildcard weekend, and broader notes about the Bears' tight end development. The usage trend is screaming ceiling, and the ownership discount is ideal on a player who can match the top tier in a single game. Flex, we are replacing yesterday's Jalen Coker volatility play, with Dalton Kincaid at 4,300, dash rank 100 against the Denver Broncos, who have a tough defense overall. He projects for 8 with 11 fantasy points per game and has posted 12, 8, and 0 recently, coming in near 0% owned. We are prioritizing price-based floor with credible touchdown equity, even in a tougher matchup. Earlier season hamstring headlines on Kincaid kept public enthusiasm in check, and multiple injury roundups in recent weeks reinforce that hesitation. At this salary, a tight end who routinely earns chain-moving targets and red zone looks can beat the price tag with even modest volume, and the ownership leverage is a bonus. Defense. We are moving off yesterday's Eagles defense to the Texans defense at 3,400 with a dash rank of 63 and a projection of 10. Recent fantasy totals are 12, 8, and 11. This is a simple efficiency upgrade. For a small salary bump, we get a unit with steady sack and turnover output and a stronger projection baseline. The mid-range price fits the Stafford stack without forcing us to punt a skill position. Now, value pivots and how they fit around our new core. Jarrett Stidham at 4,000 is our salary saver at quarterback if you must drop down from Stafford. He faces the Buffalo Bills, who have a tough defense overall, and he will be around 11% owned. The news flow matters here. Bo Nix is out for the season, and Sean Payton has been explicit about expectations, as covered in the blunt message on Stidham's future piece. Another article notes he has not thrown an official NFL pass since 2023. For a quarterback with limited recent starts, projections are inherently unreliable. If you go here, do it for lineup construction leverage, not median projection. Adam Prentice at 4,000 is a fullback only if you are embracing extreme contrarian builds. He will be basically 0% owned. This is an MME dart with correlated leverage in rare scripts, not a core play. Jordan Whittington at 3,000 is a thin Rams stacking dart with Stafford against the Bears, who have one of the worst defenses overall, and he will be around 11% owned. His recent games have been quiet, but if you are triple stacking Stafford for large field tournaments and need pure salary relief, he is the cheapest viable attachment to this passing game. Terrence Ferguson at 2,700 is a punt tight end or double tight end flex only in large fields. He faces the Bears, who have one of the worst defenses overall, and sits around 3% owned with recent games of 0, 0, and 13. The news note that he made his first career NFL catch, and the steady roll development make him a thin but correlated stacking piece when you need every dollar. Devin Duvernay at 3,000 is a speed-based bring-back for Rams stacks against a middle-of-the-pack defense overall. He will be basically 0% owned. Use only if you are fading Colston Loveland and want to diversify Chicago exposure in large fields. If you need to free up a final few hundred at defense, the 49ers defense at 2,200 projects for 5, with an opponent that is middle-of-the-pack overall. It is strictly a salary release valve when it meaningfully upgrades a skill position. Why the changes from yesterday's build? Yesterday, we paid down at quarterback with Caleb to prioritize balance. Today, the combination of Stafford's strong projection, soft overall opponent defense, and supportive news context around his MVP-level discourse make the spend worth it. Moving to Kenneth Walker is a leverage response to pricing and public perception after early season struggles that were called out in articles, while his recent spike games and near-zero ownership give us asymmetric upside. Swapping Puka to Davante Adams concentrates salary into Stafford plus a discounted alpha in the same soft matchup and aligns with the officiating scrutiny articles that point to near misses for Adams against these Bears. Colston Loveland replaces Schultz because his role surge is undeniable per the Chicago tight end development coverage and the wild card impact note, and he gives us a correlated bringback. Kincaid over a WR punt in flex raises our floor at a cheaper price point while capitalizing on depressed sentiment from recent injury chatter. Core today: Matthew Stafford, Kenneth Walker III, Davante Adams, Colston Loveland, Dalton Kincaid, Texans defense. If you must punt quarterback, Jarrett Stidham is the salary release with clear volatility. If you need extreme savings elsewhere, Jordan Whittington and Terrence Ferguson are correlated darts, and the 49ers defense is your bare minimum fallback.